Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming one of the great sci-fi horror character actors of all time, from Canada, that is. His name is Angus MacInnes. You all know him as the Gold Leader in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. But he's had a huge career beyond that. He played Rosie in The Adventures of Bob and Doug McKenzie, Strange Brew. He was also in Outland, Atlantic City, Rollerball, Spasms, Half Moon Street, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, Stanley Kubrick's last movie, Eyes Wide Shut, and so many others. I'm having him on the show today. I've been wanting him on the show for a long time, but I didn't know he was on social media at all until just recently, and I'm pretty excited to have him on. It's going to be pretty cool. I love talking to horror and sci-fi people. You know, you don't choose your career, it chooses you. Something Mark Arnold told me when I talked to him earlier this morning, and it is very true, you know. And this is the second 420 show today, so happy 420 to everybody. Smoke them if you got them, and I'm not talking cigarettes. Just have a chronic blunt and have a good time. So yeah, here is my interview with Angus MacInnes.
Hello.
Hey Angus.
Tommy, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. My daughter's on another. I've got my daughter on FaceTime beside me, and she's been trying to walk me through this because she's kind of tied into my system. I got all these. I'm living around it like lunatic. Anyway.
Yeah.
Goodbye, darling.
Yep. Well.
Respect that.
Well, I'm here now.
Yeah.
It's such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Oh, it's a great pleasure.
Yes. So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting early on in your childhood?
No. I was born and raised in Windsor, Ontario, which is like 1 mile from Detroit. And we're talking about the 1960s. You know, this is 100 years ago. And we were into cars big time, and working in factories and dragging our cars all over the city. I mean, it was just, the idea of theater was just not on my radar at all. I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
And I just kind of, when I was about 18, I just sort of stumbled, and I did something at school, in high school, and one of the teachers said, you should maybe think about doing some theater. And I just looked at him, I thought, I don't know who he was really talking about.
Yeah.
And about 6 months later, he tried again, and then I said, let's see what that's all about. And then I got involved in the local university in Windsor, and in the drama department, and I did a small play, and then I sort of thought, hey, this is great. And then I did a bigger play, and then I was hooked. I was just, I'm an actor. See you later. And it was a ticket out of building cars.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, like, my future in Windsor was what most people are, and they're wonderful people, and they work their socks off. But the future there is, building cars or something to do with the automotive industry, tool and die and all that. So, I mean, I didn't want to do that. I thought, I guess I just wanted to do something different, and I wound up acting, wound up training, and wound up doing movies.
Wow.
So, got lucky,
Yeah.
Lucky.
When you were training and acting, was there anybody in your class that went on to become successful?
I have a couple of friends of mine. In fact, I just lost one the other day. He went on to do a lot of Broadway work and American tour. He was a singer, musical train, and then they look at the theater, and they look at the work, and they think, do I do that? Because it's a huge commitment.
Mm-hmm.
People say, oh, I want to be an actor. Well, that's cool. And really, I get it. But I mean, for 99% of actors, it's just a lot of graft. It's getting to know people. It's doing work that you hope people will notice you in, and you try to, you just try to work. And sometimes you have long periods of time where you don't work, and if you haven't got any money, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's like now, there's a lot of people right now because of this hideous pestilence, which is the best. Everybody can't work, and suddenly they're looking down the throat of the barrel of a gun, and they're saying, well, my God, they're saying, where's the next month's rent going to come from? Where's what can I buy for food? Suddenly I want to buy all this, but I can't really afford to buy that. I can't buy this. So the shopping list gets stripped out to flour and pasta and,
Yeah.
And so actors live like that all the time. Especially when you're young, and it's really, so a lot of people train as actors, and then because they love the idea and they love the expression, and they will probably go on, hopefully, throughout their life, performing in amateur dramatics or in small companies, wherever, now and then, and have a ball, but they won't have to depend on it as a living. I know there's a guy in the city that I live in Edinburgh, Scotland, and there's a man who lives here who's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
But he's addicted to opera, and he's a wonderful singer. And he has been singing opera since he's been a young man. He's about 70 now, 70 or 75.
Mm-hmm.
And he's brilliant. He could have been a professional, but he didn't want that life. He didn't want that life of being broke most of the time and having flushes. And a lot of people who train as actors, suddenly after they go out and they sort of put their toe in the water and they go, this could be really, really dicey.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could not work for 18 months and then do like one television thing and then not work for 2 months and then do a little play in which actually costs me money.
Yeah.
People forget that. A lot of actors do things like theater, some theater that actually costs them to do it. What they get paid doesn't cover the costs of doing it because, and that's spooky. But you got to do it because you want to get seen and you got to get another job. And if you're working, then so it's not. There's an unpleasant part of this business that is that's spooky. And so, those of us who have survived it, who were stupid enough to say, oh, I could do that, we go out and we keep working.
Yeah.
And we don't worry about being completely broke for months and months and months and, doing weird jobs and things that, eat and have a roof over your head. But maybe we're just too stupid or just too, we just want, to do the work bad enough. It's like when I first did a film, I wandered around this set of these all these sets we had and stuff. I'm thinking, Christ, look at all this stuff. These people built it, they built this incredible stuff. They built it, and you think, God, it's just amazing. And I just watched all that unfold, and I watched people create a world, and I thought, I want to do this. This is great. It's amazing. That is really the magic part, because when actors get junked out on it, you have big trouble.
Yeah. Was that first movie Rollerball?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day. It's funny because for some reason, you're working when you're alone now, because most of us are alone these days.
Yeah.
I've been working around my house and doing work. I just started, I was thinking, I was working with Norman Jewison and Chris Chalice. Chris Chalice is probably one of the best cameramen that ever lived. So I'm working with an Academy Award-winning director and Academy Award-winning cinematographer in my first movie. Now, I'm not doing much in the movie.
Yeah.
Granted, but what I'm doing is learning, and I'm watching these guys. It's like a hawk, you know.
Yeah.
But I was still a student in my head, and I was watching it. It was like sitting in a seminar of you know. I just watched these guys working, and then I sit there, and I insisted on going into the set whether or not I was working. I got a ride in, and I would just hang around and watch, and I would ask questions of the crew, and not Norman. I mean, I wasn't that big an idiot.
Yeah.
But I would just watch, and it was just extraordinary. It was like going to school, and that was my first film school. Was and every movie I've done since then has been my next film school. So some of them you learn the weirdest lessons. You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like almost every film you do is a film course. And some of them are absolutely enlightening. Others are like, God, why would you do this? Like some people are nutty and other people are sublime. So, you know.
Yeah. I got plenty to ask about here. You guest starred on an episode of Space 1999.
Yeah.
How's that experience?
Well, I didn't know too much about the people that were on it. Martin Landau, of course, I knew about, but I didn't know anything about his wife. And they were both absolutely charming, but they were so distant because they were these Los Angeles actors who were in London making this weird space sci-fi thing that was with the sets were cardboard, you know, and then it was like it was one of those deals, you know, like early Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It sort of wobbled a bit. There was a little wobbling going on. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was sort of, because it was that sort of science fiction that I sort of, I'm a huge science fiction fan. And
I can tell.
and I've read lots of science fiction. And this kind of science fiction, I was sort of like, oh, it's not really very deep, and it's not very interesting. But it was fun. I mean, it was fun television. And, you know, it was a job, man. And it's like, come on, you know? Like I said, I got to eat. It's like, you know, you don't get a choice. You just say, your agent says to you, they want you to do this. Fine, no problem. I'll be there. You know? That's the response. Either that or you don't eat. So, you know, I'll just do it. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Martin Landau, though, what a brilliant actor he was.
Wow, yeah. Underrated for a long time, unfortunately, because he was cast in his early days. He was sort of, you know, handsome, suave guy, but there was an edge to him that was just, you know, he was a very intelligent guy. And you saw it later in his career.
Yeah.
You saw it flower then, and you were like, yeah, cool, that's good, you know.
Yeah. And you know,
I think he was one of those people you could actually say he wasted a lot of early work. But he did a good job in all of it, which is the mark of a good actor is that if you're given rubbish to do, then you do a good job with it. And hey, you know, stamp that guy, grade A. I mean, come on, you know, it's like you can't not care.
Yeah.
Even if you know it's rubbish, you just go, oh, okay, well, it's rubbish, but we'll make it interesting if I can, because we all have to get through the work. So, you know.
Yeah, even a guy like him who kind of got, you know, limited by, you know, doing the Mission Impossible. You know, he got out of the whole TV thing.
Yeah. That's, you know, but sometimes, you know, they offer you Mission Impossible. They're saying, hey, you don't have to work for, you know, you do 1 year, you don't have to work for 5. I mean, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And a lot of actors look at that and they go, I got mortgages and I got kids and I got, you know. And so the reality bites and they say, yeah, of course I'll do it. You know, what, are you serious? Of course I'll do it. I would love to do it. And then they'll have a great time doing it.
Yeah.
And then they'll wind up doing Comic-Cons for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that either, too. Believe you me.
Oh, yeah. Comic-Cons are just, they've changed the whole lexicon, and they've been really great. I just hope that they sustain after this quarantine is over.
Yeah, it's going to take time for people to take a deep breath and say, yeah. And I think we're going to see an enormous number of cosplayers who have got masks on.
Yeah.
or lots of them, including me.
Or have a shield.
I've got a gold leader helmet. I may wear it from now on.
Or
well, people would laugh. I mean, we'd get a lot of attention. There you go. I don't know whether I'll do that though.
Yeah.
I haven't been shaving since I got back from Pensacola. I've got this sort of Viking sort of shaping beard, and I had to worry about myself. It's like I'm going to have to stand a little closer to the razor pretty soon before I go public again.
Yeah.
I look like a mountain man, or a Viking that just sailed across the sea.
Yeah. I've been wearing a hospital mask when I go out, and so is my mom. How did?
Well, I'm not allowed out.
Oh.
You see, I'm under house arrest. Actually, what happened was I got injured in Pensacola.
Oh.
I didn't get injured. I have a blood condition, and I had what we call in the trade a bleed in the knee joint of my right leg. And I couldn't walk, and I wound up in the hospital for 24 hours, and then I did 2 days at Pensacola, and then I came home.
Mm-hmm.
But then I spent 2 weeks on a sofa. I couldn't move, and except to go to bed. And then I go to bed and get up in the morning. I go there and sit in my nest on the sofa. Now I got a good view. Okay, I look over the sea, the back of my house, so it's not exactly horrible. And I just sat there and read for 2 weeks solid, and I got some crutches finally, and now I'm mobile, but we can't go out now.
Oh.
And so my daughter, who lives in my house with us, with her child, who's 5, she has dictated what's going on here, and she says, "You're not going outside.
Yeah.
You don't go out." And she does like a once a week foray with the gloves and the mask and the whole 9 yards, and hits the supermarkets and buys what she needs. And we also get things delivered. I live in Scotland. We've got all the supermarkets have been delivering for years. So they just roll with this. So everybody's delivering, but it takes about a week to get a delivery.
Yeah.
But we've got loads of food, and you sort of make a list up, so you do one giant shop a week, basically. That's it, and that's cool. And then we raid the little supermarkets and food shops around, so we're okay. But there are people living in small apartments that you just think, "Oh my God, what's going on?" I mean, hello.
Yeah.
So but I've been in virtual isolation now since March the 4th.
Yeah.
I haven't been out of my house. No, I've been out of my house twice since March the 4th.
But are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, good.
I've been through this before, and I know what the deal is. It's just hugely painful, really uncomfortable, and really a pain in the ass, and it slows me down to stop, and it's just boring. But I know it's going to get better, so I just wait for it to get better.
Yeah.
The problem is I swim a lot. That's how I stay fit.
Mm-hmm.
And in Edinburgh, they closed all the pools.
Yeah.
So I can't go swimming. I have the sea at the bottom of my garden, but Christ almighty, it is like so unimaginably cold that it'd be a lunatic to go in there. Well, there's a lot of people that do wild swimming here, and they swim in that water, in fact, but I couldn't do it. I mean, I would just have a heart attack or something. I might as well just, really. I don't know if you know what it's like to swim in ultra cold water, but we've got this swimming club here that they do this. We got like 100 people. They don't fool around. They get a whole whack of people in the water.
Yeah.
And they swim like a mile. They don't go in for like 2 seconds. They're not babies. These guys go in for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And they do a mile,
Mm-hmm.
And you think, man, it's like cold. You could die in that water. Nah, it's like,
Yeah.
okay. I can't believe it. But I'm not doing it, okay?
Yeah.
I have to do other things like walking around. I can do some short walks.
Yeah.
Now that I'm healing.
So, how did you get to be the gold leader in Star Wars?
I did what every other American actor in London did, which was, it was like, when George Lucas came to town, it was like dog whistle, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, he just invited all the American actors in town to show up and say hello, basically, and we all did, and we all got a job.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably the easiest casting any of us ever experienced, and although nobody would like to admit it, but it's true. I mean, everybody got a job. You know, if you could walk, you got a job.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, it was like, you know, he just hired a lot of people. I mean, he came to town, he bought all the actors that were there, and we both went, cool. And a lot of us were of a good mindset. You know, the people that have remained good friends of mine that I know, which is the whole Star Wars community thing, the actors and the people that I remember, those that we've lost and all that,
mm-hmm.
they were really fans. I mean, they were fans of science fiction, but they were fans of Star Wars when we were making it. They were thinking, oh, this is really good, this is cool, even though they knew it was this low-budget B movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into this
huge phenomenon. Yeah.
And then everybody that said, oh, this is rubbish, then said, oh my God, I always knew it was going to be fabulous. And that's okay. I mean, come on. I mean, it's like, I had a ball. You know, what little time I spent on it, I had a ball. I was sitting there thinking, oh, God, I really wish I had longer on this movie. It's so good. I mean, it's so interesting. It was doing such interesting things. And although it was my second picture, it wasn't as though I was Mr. Experienced guy who knew what he was talking about. But it wasn't. It was. It was great fun. It was great fun to do it, and we all had a good time. And the guys that I've known for 45 years.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
We eat a lot, and we say, "Hey, how you doing?" And have a few drinks, and that's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Star Wars has been nuts.
How was George Lucas as a director? How was George Lucas as a director?
I don't know. I didn't have a lot of direct contact with him, except in the Battle of Yavin,
mm-hmm.
Death Star stuff. And it was he was very technical. He just wanted to get stuff, and so you didn't get a lot of time to sort of get to know the person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People like Garrick Hagan, for instance, who played Biggs.
Yeah.
And he's a real good pal of mine, and I love Garrick to death. And but he was on the picture for like 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So he got to know George. They were on location in Morocco, and he got to know all those guys. He hung out with them, and if you're hanging on the set with people, you get to know them, and then that forms a bond. But if you're only doing 4 or 5 days, which I did, then you don't get to form those bonds because you're not working long enough with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey.
Well, you ended up doing a couple more movies with Harrison Ford. Was there a difference? Did you see a difference in him between, pre-fame in Star Wars and then fame on Witness?
Well, in Star Wars, I didn't know him very well. And then I worked with him on Force 10 from Navarone, and he was,
right.
I think he was at that point, he was still thinking that it was all a bit mysterious what had happened. And and then when we did Witness, by then they figured it out. He'd done Indiana Jones, and so he was on a trajectory. And he was very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All of that, because it was impinging on his life. And I got out of the car, and a kid spotted him. And it's Indy, and suddenly there was 30 kids there. And he said, we just piled back in the car, and we just went and just drove away. And he hated that because he didn't have any privacy, and no privacy in his life. And you think, wow, is that a good way to live? I mean, you get gazillions of dollars, but I mean, that's a good way to live. And I think that's always been a conflict with him. I think he always has been weighing up, whether or not the trade-off has been, which is why I think he's so reluctant to interview people, and he doesn't trust interviewers to give him an even break. Yeah. Anyway, hey, that's his job. Nothing to do with me.
Yeah. He's a fascinating guy, though. Then you got out of the sci-fi genre with Atlantic City, a great movie that Louis Mayall directed. How was working with him?
It was, he was the first, let me see, who was he? He was the first auteur director, really, what you could call an auteur director that I've worked with for an extended period of time and to talk to. He was extraordinary to work with. He was just great. So interesting. A bit intimidating because, I mean, he was this hardball sort of French experimental filmmaker, and it was like, it's Louis Mayall. But he was very, very human and down to earth and a lovely man. And, and the work, working with Burt Lancaster, give me a break.
Yeah.
Hello.
One of the greats.
I was like Burt Lancaster. I had a fight scene in that picture with Lancaster, and I had to beat him up.
Yeah.
So we're on the set. He's there, this old man's there. So we go, let's rehearse this.
Yeah.
I lunge at him, and I grab him, I throw him, he's like, he looked at me, he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm attacking you. He said, Shirley, come on, let's go. If you're going to do this, do this. Don't fuck around.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, shit. You want me to beat you up? It's like, and so I just went for it. And like, he was, I put everything I had in, and he goes, yeah, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And it's like, you just go, okay, it's going to be fantastic. That's what he's saying. I know. It was a joy to watch this guy work. He was just so, I mean, he was one of the fabulous Hollywood stars who could actually act. I mean, he was a really good actor.
Yeah.
And he proved that in a lot of the stuff he did with Lucci. And, aside from the Hollywood formula movies that he made, he showed in many cases that he was definitely as a hard-ball hitter as anybody has ever come down the line. He was an amazing actor. And I was in awe of him. But, I mean, when you're on a set with an actor like that, you just got to get past that awe. And he has to become a person that you can talk to rather than a guy who tremble in your boots every time you see him. You can't do that because that gets in the way of the work. You can't relate to a person honestly if that's what you're, if you're drifting off thinking, oh, we're working with a big star. I mean, that's horseshit. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
You played a prison warden in Superman 2?
Yeah.
Which Richard did you work with?
Richard Donner.
Okay, good.
He was very impressive. He had yellow tinted set of glasses on, almost like shades. And I thought, God, that's a Hollywood. I can't believe it. And it was great. Yeah, he was fine. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know why I was there, but I needed to pay the vet. And I was like, well, I got to work with Ned Beatty and Gene Hackman. I mean, give me
Yeah.
It's one of the, bucket list things.
Yeah.
Burt Lancaster, Gene Hackman, Ned Beatty. Who else is on the horizon?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. Elliot Gould, that'll do it. You just, pick him off.
And then you worked with...
working with people like that, because then you get that's when you can work. You can work with people who, if you don't care that they're like a big star, I was very impressed with all of them, but I mean, if you don't care they're a big star, it's good. You see, I mean, the fact that they're worth billions, they're not going to give it to me, are they? I mean, hey, so what? They got a lot of money. I know. There you go. They're not going to give it to me, so relax. Just we'll have a good time.
Yeah, then you worked with Sean Connery in Outland.
I didn't work with Sean Connery. I just was in Outland.
Yeah.
I was just in the opening sequence. I never even saw Mr. Connery.
Yeah. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Peter Hyde is a weird director.
Yeah, it's funny. I've talked to a few people who've worked with him. He likes to use sound stages, and he gets a lot of flack for that. For the lighting and everything. I think that when he passes, he's going to be looked at as a pioneer.
I don't know. You see, the problem. I think Peter's problem is always been that he thinks he's an auteur, and that sort of auteur saying.
Yeah.
And that means, and he thinks that means he does everything.
Yeah.
And that's not what an auteur really is. So Peter winds up writing, directing. He's the photographer. He does everything. And so then he's on the set, and you can't change a single dot or an and in his script. And actors in film are not used to working like that. Actors in film take a script and they start knocking it around, and then they come to the director and they say, "We hated the dialogue, so we did this." And the director says, "Change it," or he says, "That's perfect. Let's do it because it's better, because it suits the actors." And when people try that with Hines' work, they're told, no, it has to be dead letter exactly what he wrote. And that's nuts, because he's not a good dialogue writer at all. And so I found that to be really tedious. That somebody that is so over-controlled doesn't understand the process of filmmaking in the sense that everybody contributes. And if everybody doesn't contribute, you've got a problem. And films are built by teams. They're not made by one person. Like Louis Malle was, to me, a true auteur director, one of the great ones. Peter Weir's another one.
Oh, yeah.
Stanley Kubrick's another one. These guys aren't dictators. What they do is they go, I'm going to try to figure this out. And if the painter says, why don't you do this? He'll throw that in and say, yeah, let's try it. That's what an auteur is. He takes all the bits and pieces that people keep, and he makes the puzzle. He puts it all together. And he says, we're going to shoot it like this. And the cameraman might say, it would be better if we shot them over there. And he goes, okay, let's do that. And then that's how you build it. It isn't being so rigid. Like Peter has said, that I've seen him work on 2 pictures, he's so rigid the way he shoots that it means that nobody has latitude to move. They don't have elbow room, and it constricts them. And that winds up on the screen, and that means that although it looks like a good movie, people don't go and see them, and they're not knocked out by them. So I don't know whether he's going to, if he's seen as a prophet, well, good. Hey, somebody's got to be. Bad job, I don't want it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
Too much over control is like,
Yeah.
Anyway.
How about making The Sender?
Yeah, Peter Christensen, Roger Christensen.
Right.
I think he was really constrained with money and things. Yeah. The script wasn't great.
Yeah. Catherine Harold, though, she was a great actress. She's a therapist now.
A lot of actresses become therapists.
Yeah.
I think they know something we don't.
Yeah. I know. I interviewed Melody Anderson. She's a therapist now.
Yes, well, Billy Connolly's wife's a therapist. Connie Booth, who was married to John Cleese.
Right.
So I worked with Connie, and knew her quite well. She's a therapist, you know. I'm serious. A lot of women actresses. I think because we spend a lot of time dealing with psychology of characters and things, and then they get to a point in their career and they get bored with the pretend, and they say, I actually want to do this. I want to explore what, help people. They're compassionate people. So, hey, that's good.
Yeah.
And more therapists, the better. We're going to need a lot of therapists in the near future.
Yeah.
Dear me. Anyway.
Yeah. My earliest memory of you was in Strange Brew.
Ah, yes.
Lynn is
just a wonderful, wonderful picture. I just had such fun doing it. It was just amazing. And when I went to this, as you know, I went to Comic-Con, Pensacon.
Yes.
In Pensacola, Florida, and met up with Lynn Griffiths and Dave Thomas there, and it was the first time we'd met in 38 years, I think it was in Dave's just, and it was just fabulous. It was just fabulous. They were wonderful, and we had a great time together. We did a question and answer, the three of us.
Yeah.
I was on the floor half the time. It was so funny. David is still a very sharp and very smart guy.
Yeah, I don't think Rick could handle fame very well when he was successful, and then of course his wife died and he had to raise his kids, and stuff. But I'd like to see Rick make a comeback.
I understand he's been involved in production in the last few years, and that he is coming back. He's doing another Strike the Kids movie, I heard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know nothing. But
Yeah.
That's just what I know. Somebody said that he's going to do some work. But,
yeah. Lynn's a freak.
I don't know if it was the same thing as much as it's, I'm sure that Rick Moranis could handle the same without real problems. I'm sure that it was probably more closer to home than most.
Yeah. Lynn, she's a frequent guest on here. I just absolutely adore her. She sends me autographed 8x10s and stuff, and she's just a wonderful lady. I mean, she's a true gem.
Yeah, she's great fun. And she's still got that smile.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, a fabulous smile.
Yeah. I love it when you are all underwater in the van drinking the beer and the cop finds you.
That was so fun to do. It was just off the wall. And I just thought, we're going to do what? Okay, yeah, sure, that's a good idea. Let's do that. It's like, I mean, it was nuts. You just went, yeah, why not? You suggest stuff, and you go, oh, really, huh? You want to do that, huh? Okay, fine, let's do it. Let's do that. You want to do that? Okay, let's do that. It's like, we're going to wear this stuff? This is from Star Wars. What are we wearing? It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then we had Max von Sydow on the picture, who sadly
just died
last month.
Yeah.
And I've had this probably the seminal movie that I've ever seen was his Bergman movie,
the Seventh Seal.
The Seventh Seal, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was riveted by that movie. I understood what film was when I saw that movie. Film, you see, is the story told visually, and theater is the story told verbally. I mean, you need dialogue in film, obviously. I'm not saying that film should be silent, but
right.
Most of the story in film is told through the action, you watch it unfold. And I learned that from Bergman and watching The Seventh Seal, because I stopped watching the subtitles, reading the subtitles about a third of the way through the movie. And about three-quarters of the way through the movie, I realized that I wasn't reading the subtitles, but I understood the movie perfectly. And I thought, wow, that's storytelling. You don't need the dialogue, really. And I understood everything that was going on. And, it was just, another year I was doing this lunatic movie. such a nice guy. And
That's wonderful.
he lived for a long time, though, boy. You know, he got, like 92 or something. You know, he got up there. He did well.
Did close to 200 movies.
Yeah, I know. He had the best career of any actor I've ever I can think of. He did almost any of the movies that he wanted to do. He did great classics. He did silly stuff like Strange Brew. But every year he went back to Stockholm and did a play.
Yeah.
And he had this island off of Stockholm. Stockholm is like got this archipelago of about 1,000 islands in front of it, and he owns one of the islands, and he'd go stay there. But then he'd get on the plane and go do a couple of movies, and then go back to Sweden. And he was incredible. He had a wonderful career.
Yeah, he
wonderful career. Jeez, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, you know.
No.
So hey. And he does this weird little Danish movie, what was it called? About a kid and this old man teaching him how to play football. And he gets an Academy Award for it, Academy Award nomination. You go, what? I mean, this guy, he was amazing. Just absolutely extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, God bless him, God rest him. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Out of this mayhem, anyway.
How was working on Spasms?
Spasms?
William Fruitt?
We had a really mad cast.
Yep.
And it was really a mad story, and it was oh man, it was bizarre. It was like, those movies the Canadians turned out a whole bunch of these movies that period. These dreadful horror movies, and this was one of them, and it was just nonsense. And they had Oliver Reed, and and Peter Fonda.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with these two guys. I mean, both in their own way were legends. I mean, total legends. I mean, like, and they were nuts. It was like you're working in a banana factory. I mean, really, it was crackers.
I can imagine.
It was great fun, and everybody in the cast got eaten by the snake. Everybody. I mean, everybody in the whole cast. I haven't never seen the movie, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen it at least once.
Have you?
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah, okay. I've never seen it, so I mean, I have no idea. It was just bizarre. I mean, we had to play with all these. We had 1,000 garter snakes in a water fountain. I mean, it was stupid. It was like a stupid movie.
Yeah.
I mean, some stupid movies can be great fun. They can be like, but if you take them too seriously, then they become just stupid. They become,
Mm-hmm. I really love Half Moon Street.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, one of her best performances, I think.
She was an amazing woman. Working with her was just, I didn't actually work with her very much on that movie, but we were on the set together a lot, and as part of the core cast, you sort of around when everybody's chatting. She's a really intelligent woman. And so, it was just, it was a really enjoyable movie. Michael Caine was amazing to work with.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing when you work with somebody like that who's really approachable, really nice, and really, really confident when they're working. So you just go, oh, okay, he's in control. This is cool. So he was good. It was lovely to work with. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it didn't glue together, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes movies only fail because of the edit.
Either that or just it didn't get released at the right time.
Or they don't get released at the right time. Yeah, it's a crapshoot, I mean,
yeah.
The whole movie thing is a crapshoot in so many ways.
You're my fourth guest from Hellbound Hellraiser 2.
You see, I didn't know anything about that. Although I had read a few books, but I didn't know the movies. I'm not really good with that sort of hard edge horror.
Yeah.
The really deep stuff. I mean, being a Comic-Con guy, I know how popular it is.
Yeah.
I get it. I get that part. That's cool. But me, I won't sit down and watch it. I don't watch that sort of fare.
Yeah.
Not because it's just because I'm not good with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to be part of any of that sort of gory stuff.
Yeah. I've talked to the Cenobites, Barbie Wilde, Nick Vince, and Simon Bamford. Great, nice people, and they just appreciate their fans. You know, they're just they have a really good fan base. The Hellraiser movies for such hard-edged movies, you know.
Yeah. Oh no, they're loved, and Clive, the writer, and he was just wonderful. You know, so approachable. He took me up. At one point, we were just sitting on the set, and he said, "Do you want to come up and see some rushes?" And I said, "Say what?" I mean, directors don't do that, and writers don't do that. And he took me up to an editing booth, and there was these two people in the room, and he said, "Oh, this is my mom and dad," and he introduced me, and it was like, and he sat down. We watched a whole bunch of stuff, and I sat there and I said, "This is great," and he said, "Oh," and he was just so nice. I mean, it was like,
yeah, I was supposed to.
And it's not what you expect.
Yeah. I was supposed to meet him at a convention in May, but it got canceled because of quarantine. I was really upset. Yeah, I was looking forward to finally meeting him. Since I've been going to conventions the last 4 years, he was taking a long break from it. So hopefully maybe next year or something.
Oh, yeah. Interesting, really, really sweet guy. You sort of expect a guy with arms and sort of weird stuff. Or being really odd or something. He was just so normal. It was just, I thought, wow, well, all right. And then we had a really nice chat. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
All those horror guys are actually pretty normal. Wes Craven was, George Romero was, a lot of them.
Yeah. It's odd, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very odd.
They're not locked up most of the time.
David Cronenberg, yeah, I mean, they're all pretty normal.
I've never met Cronenberg, but I mean, I've seen interviews with him, and I thought, yeah, he is Mr. Normal, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like an insurance salesman.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to work with Stanley Kubrick in his last movie, Eyes Wide Shut. That must be a huge career highlight.
It was really extraordinary. Kubrick came with a lot of baggage, reputations among actors, and I was ready for this sort of ogre that was going to be like nasty and very difficult. And he turned out to be the nicest guy in the world.
Nice.
And he was just very gentle and really unbelievably demanding. And he took my breath away because, I mean, we did about 180 takes on one shot. And I was sitting there thinking, wow, this is really crazy. I mean, why are we doing this? But that's just the way he works. He just likes to shoot.
Yeah.
He likes to shoot footage. But we did a lot of takes. And I only had a couple of nights to work with him, but it was fascinating, and he was very interesting. I wish I had more time, but I guess Tom Cruise must have had the patience of Joe because he was demanding. God.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I was working with Cruise in this one thing, and we were up to about, 120 takes or something, and Stanley said, "Oh, that's perfect, absolutely perfect. Let's do it again." Tom looked at me, and I looked at him, and he just shrugged his shoulders and smiled, and just walked back to the car and got ready to do it again. And I thought,
Any good stories about Hellboy?
Oh, Hellboy. Hellboy was I sat there on the set of Hellboy, and we were working in a disused quarry outside of Prague in the Czech Republic, yeah, in Eastern Europe. And it was colder than the hubs of hell, and we had 4 rain towers on us all the time for 3 weeks. And it was 8 below zero. And I sat there and watched icicles form on the set. I was sitting there going, I was so damn cold, I couldn't believe it. And we had wetsuits on, and we had Czech guys who were being extras playing German soldiers who didn't have wetsuits on. They were just wet.
Yeah.
And I saw some extraordinary visuals there. A huddle. There was this, at one point, you have to visualize this. There was a huddle of probably 50 extras, all in a big circle around one of those big industrial blow heater fans.
Yeah.
They're like an aircraft engine. And all the lights in the set were up, and all these guys were huddled around in this mess. And it was just a cloud of steam rising up into the night sky. And I sat there and looked at it, and I thought, this is so bizarre. I can't believe it. And I was watching, the whole set was covered in a patina of ice. It was beautiful and really weird. And I thought, and then Guillermo del Toro is just like, I'd work with that guy like tomorrow.
Yeah.
He was just, and ruthless, a ruthless director. I mean, he just pushed people very, very hard. But hey, he gets the results, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
Our auteur director, there is an auteur director. Somebody who's got a belief so strong that people will just go, yeah, okay, let's do that. That's nuts. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a hard job. Really physically hard. Just monstrously difficult. But, I have a story about that, which is, and I swear to God, it's true. I was, after about a week or so, we've been working, and we had a day off. It was Sunday, so we had the day off. And I was in my hotel room, and I was pacing around the hotel room, and I was not happy. And I was really stressed by this cold business, and I was like thinking I was going to die. And I kept looking at my airline ticket, which was sitting on my desk in my hotel room, and I kept thinking, I could just phone a cab. And I could get in a cab, and I could go to the airport, and I could give them this ticket, and they would fly me home. And I was really, really, really close to doing it. And I kept thinking, no, you can't do that. You can't just leave. And the other side of me was saying, yes, you can. You get in the fucking cab, and you can go home. And it was that sort of edgy. It was just very trying movie. But I was really pleased with the result. I was really pleased.
That's cool.
Hey, yeah, that was. Yeah, I thought Ron Perlman was just something else, and another nice guy, How you doing, Ron? Good,
Yeah.
One of those guys.
So you're still out there working. Do you have any future plans or projects after quarantine? No, I don't think anybody has any plans after quarantine, and I don't work very much anymore because I'm old, and the older you get, the less roles there are, and so I don't mind being that. I have a nice life right now. I'd like to work, but I don't want to work. I don't want to do stuff that I'm not happy doing. So I mean, I've been around the block, man. I've been making movies. I've been in this business for like 50 years, and it's like people ask me to do one day on a movie playing the bartender that says yes, sir, and I go, no, I don't think I'll do that. Yeah, not you.
I'm not interested in it. Not me, I don't feel like doing that. So,
Yeah.
Because I mean, the way the film industry works is that you work and you work and you work up until you're in your 50s. And unless you're really well known, the work starts to tail off because there's
Yeah.
Unless it's an old guy's movie, in which case it's Michael Caine and yada, 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 guys like that. And so supporting actors like myself get marginalized.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not particularly a bad thing. It doesn't. It just means that, when casting comes and somebody's got a fairly well-recognized name and it's the old guy in the movie or in the television series, we normally get bypassed.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they don't have any money, in which case we get hired instantly.
Yeah.
Because they know we'll take the crummy money.
Did you ever live in?
I don't mind. I mean, I've done a lot of work, and I'm quite content in my life and what I do and how we do it and how we live. Living is what's important, not just the work.
Yeah.
We have to live, and now we're starting to appreciate that. Now we're 4 weeks into this.
Yeah.
Into this pestilence thing. Well, actually, we're a lot longer into it, but some people don't understand that part.
Yeah. Did you ever live in L.A.?
I was there for about 3 months in 1979, 79, I think it was. And I didn't feel that I would fit the culture that was there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not up to the LA guy.
Yeah. That's
perfect. I don't mean that there is an LA guy. I mean, I know I got a lot of friends in Los Angeles and who live there or are from there, and some of my best friends. But I mean, I just found the film industry there to be very. I think probably I was just a coward. I just didn't have the parts to do it. That's probably more honest, actually. LA's a tough town,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't quite figure out how that worked, how it worked, because it was so big. So I think I just panicked and made a run for it.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I don't have regrets, no tears, goodbye, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you came out of it just fine, And
Oh yeah, I worked and I did some good work. I mean, I'm pleased about that. So I mean, I've got no bones about that. I think if I had the parts and I wanted to stay in Los Angeles, I probably would have worked a lot more. But I mean, so what?
Yeah.
That's water under the bridge, dude. You can't get back.
Yeah.
If you go back in time, we'd all be going back in time. It'd be a crowded place back in time. Everybody would be back in time trying to straighten their shit up.
Yeah. Well, I hope I get to meet you at a con someday after this has all been straightened out. And I hope you stay healthy and that you and your family take care of yourselves out there. And I thank you so much for coming on today.
It's a great pleasure, and I hope you have a good time, Tommy. Inside, all the success in the world to you.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it so much. And
okay.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Angus MacInnes. Ain't he a cool dude? Oh, man, great stories, great insight. Great guy. I like him a lot. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Till next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes!